What a tiring week it has been, and that's only because we're back to normal. Really? Well, we're almost there, or at least it seems in my world. So yeah, very tired, but here we are. There's so much to talk about, so I have to do yet another setup, even though every time I do one of these, I'm like, I'm not so sure. There's so many podcasts out there. There's so many people talking about these subjects. But as per the people that I've met while I've been out and about on my travels, thank you so much for saying hello. Definitely appreciate, and thank you everyone for watching the channel, of course. But what do we got to talk about? We got to talk about Wonderland, as usual, and the new situation. I was there this past Wednesday, and it's hard even for me to even take stock of what day of the week it is. But there that past Wednesday where I just missed, I believe that the bat stalled or valleyed just after I left that section of Medieval Fair. And then I found word that Behemoth had valleyed as well and had not opened previously in the week. And we all know about Lumberjack as the incident that recently has been well documented, has now gone wild on social media. Now, I'm not here to talk. I do have a vlog from that day yet to post, and the main reason why it is not posted yet is because it's going to be another two-parter, as I cover a lot of rides during my particular visits on those days. So hopefully no rides stall on the Monday. I'll say that much. I've had great luck so far. There has been a lot of delays, I've noticed, even this past week at Wonderland. As far as ride operation is concerned, I did see trains on other rides stalled for other reasons, like on Wild Beast. There were some various delays and stoppages on Leviathan as well. And the whole reason I think that anyone really wants to watch this video today is to discuss whether or not it is actually safe to go to the park still. And I'm going to say I'm not a deterrent in any shape or form, and I don't believe that it is unsafe to go to Wonderland currently. But I'm going to say that it is as safe to go to Wonderland as it is as safe for you to go to, say, McDonald's or Tim Hortons and get your, let's say, 12-grain bagel with herb and garlic cream cheese and a large black coffee. Definitely a order for me. Because, with everything that we deal with in life, be it hospitality especially, everything is technically in other people's hands at various stages. And when it comes to ride operations at Wonderland, that is definitely applicable as well. What am I getting at? Well, you know people. And with everything and every crew, you're going to have people that are really proactive and are great team leads and really are expressing and espousing the leadership that you would expect from a park that is espousing hospitality for sure. So you're going to get that, but you're also going to get some people that just aren't really into what they're doing, unfortunately, and may not be paying attention to what they're doing. And I'm not saying that this is something particular to Wonderland, because it's not. It's particular to everything in the world. So yes, there's nothing really wrong with Wonderland's rides. Some of them have been a bit janky this season for sure. Behemoth and Mindbuster especially are noticeable. As far as just generally, I feel that the cars itself feel a little bit rough. I had a couple rides on each on my last visit. And I was not surprised to see that Behemoth had stalled, I keep saying stalled, but valleyed, because the car just seems to be riding rough. If you know a car in general, like just a regular car, after say 10 years of use, it doesn't matter how well maintained it is, it's gonna still have some kinks to it. And I think you're seeing that with Behemoth now. I did not notice that with Leviathan, but it's definitely happening, I'd say, with that ride. Oddly, Wild Beast has had so much tinkering over the years that I feel like it has benefited better from that. with those rides as well. My Buster was perfectly fine actually in a non-wheel seat. If you ride it in the middle of the train or in the middle of the car, yeah, you're going to have a great ride on it. It's actually really enjoyable, and it's shocking how different it is in just a seat behind it or in front, how different and rough the ride actually is. So something needs to be done there. But further observations that I had was that Sledgehammer and Riptide and Guardian are still not open. So if I'm going to speculate in any shape or form, I'm going to say that Wonderland is struggling in the same area as every park is currently with staff. And I have said this earlier, but maybe with specialized workers, they have been struggling to find the right people to fill particular roles, to retain or to have a strong mechanic team on the park at all times. I'm not saying that those people aren't available. I'm saying those people might not want to be working right now, because that's kind of what's going on with a lot with the coming out of the pandemic, is that we're noticing in my industry in particular, and it's part of why I'm so tired right now. Yeah, there's just not much get up and go quite yet. So yeah, I think that the mechanics and the tech crew of Wonderland themselves are doing as best they can, but there's going to be some issues here and there. You're talking some rides that have not operated like consistently for a year or for a full season, and with everything, I'll just say one thing. When you talk about a car, again, make a car analogy, a car has to be, you can't just buy a car and say, hey, I'm going to put it in a garage for 20 years and it's going to be worth a fortune because it's a rare-ish car or whatever, and I'm just getting ahead of the game here. You do have to go in and actually run that car every 6 months to get the engine actually running, and the oil and the lubrication to go throughout the machine and yeah. I'm not a registered or technical mechanic, but that's something you need to do just as much as you do an oil change. And with these rides, I feel like they haven't been going through the cycles that are necessary for them to also be in that phase of just regular operation, where the mechanics and also the teams and the crews know exactly what to tackle when an issue arises. So yes, there's some growing pains yet again with some of these crews, because they just generally don't have the experience per se that, say, crews from say 2 years ago may have had, because some may have moved on to different things, etc. We all know the answers to that. Yeah, and so I do need to mention, though, that I had one crew on backlot stunt coaster, and per to what I was saying earlier about some people that aren't really with their heads in the game, the ride-op on that ride had numerous times referred to it as Cyclone on the dispatch and on the welcome back. So clearly the crews do share that ride, and yeah, she just literally was not checked in, and the rest of the crew was actually laughing about it and being like, oh my god, she did it again, like, what's going on? So that did happen. I cannot not absolve the stuff that I do take out of my blogs that are incidents that just generally I feel are going to take away from what it is anyway. But I've had a park or a park employee literally bounce right, like walk right into me while I was shooting, while we were actually making direct eye contact. Did not really offer much of an apology either. Kind of was like, if this is an interaction that I would have, say, on the street in regular public, it kind of felt like that. So with a regular or with a park staffer, it kind of felt a little bit like, is this forced intimidation or something? Because I'm fine with that. If that's the interaction and that's the path we're going down with Wonderland, well, I'm going to keep going, so it'll be fun to see how that works out. Maybe they're watching and maybe they just don't like some of the things I have to say, but I have to be genuine and frank. And for those people that have actually come up to me and said in the park itself, thank you for saying what you've said, it's really encouraged me to just keep doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to compare it to what the Wonderland was of the past to the future. And I'm going to say it even more. Recently, the experiences there have not been, that was a soda can. Recently, the experiences have not been quite the same as they were in the idyllic past. And I talk about the magic being a bit lost with the park and it being a little bit more brand heavy and sort of sterile in its offering and not really guided in the same direction of what the park used to be. But again, those interactions with park employees, I've had more great interactions with them than I've had negative ones. I had one other small incident with someone pointing out or just having a conversation about the fact that I was there alone, clearly vlogging, but you know, it is what it is. You kind of have to, in hospitality, understand the optics of the situation and not draw attention to the obvious low-hanging fruit of what that person is going on with. So, yeah. Kind of annoyed and definitely told that person I was annoyed, so yeah, that will not probably ever happen again. But it is what it is. Wonderland, otherwise, should be fine. I don't really feel that there's anything to worry about with those rides and the operations, except for the fact that, yes, there's a remarkable amount of employees in the park. Like, I feel like it's somewhat overstaffed. I did overhear one of the team supervisors actually talking to a crew and saying, hey, do you want to go home early? Because, yeah, it seems like they'd overstaffed for the day. But then I noticed other sort of more seasoned staff members that were telling me that they were working 9-hour shifts or more. So I guess that also adds credence to what I was saying earlier about, yeah, the situation at hand there. Okay, gotta move on, because there is still more to talk about. And I want to talk about what has happened to fun and why can't we have fun anymore? Why is it that when we talk about the future of a park, that the enthusiast community literally starts to go crazy because of speculation? You only need to dig deep about what's going on, say, in particular issues with the one park that I feature on this channel. But it seems like small issues are just now becoming part of the sphere of like the Marvel Universe in a way, where just like the ride operation status of, say, a certain ride, i.e. this situation with Wonderland's rides, is a point where you have to pick your side, and everything is becoming polemic, everything is becoming politicized in this community, and it's no longer talking about appreciating being around people that you enjoy being around because they share the same love of rides. Now it's really boiling down to argument points and trolling and really unfortunate sort of attacks that I'm not going to really participate in. But at the same time, I'm going to not leverage my content and minimize it based on people attacking the content. Yeah, it's all just thoughts at the end of the day, and why people have to go and go crazy about certain things is funny. So I'm not actually going to reference what I'm talking about here, but we all know what I'm talking about, and you can apply it to anything in the internet world. But I'm just, again, having to emphasize a bit of negativity in the enthusiast community when it comes down to argumentation over rides. It's not, I'm the type of person that likes to listen before I speak, instead of cutting people off before they can finish their point, etc. So when it comes down to it, I'm no short of perspectives or opinions, but I'm not going to fight in order to present them. And also, I'm not also going to go down a wormhole of back and forth tennis match of different argumentative points just for the sake of arguing. This sounds really an over-expletive, or expletive, there are no expletives, but yeah, I just feel like I need to state my point on that, because there is some videos here that some people would consider controversial, and that brings us to the other topic du jour, which is unfortunately Marineland. Now, I do need to say that I really have a ride-focused channel, and it is an attraction-focused channel, and also the future of Marineland video that has been shown on the channel is really specific to the Niagara area and to attractions. And Marineland's past is its past without question. But the last visit that I was there, I definitely felt like not only is what is most criticized about Marineland seems to be a segment of its past history that left when John Holler passed away, but the current team is kind of in a gray zone right now without a definitive leader. I'm not going to go into the conversations that I had at the park, but it definitely seems like the park really just wants something to happen. They want someone to come in and give them a purpose, and they don't necessarily, like, this is what they've been left with. This is the vision that they've been left with, and they have to work with in regards to keeping these animals on site. But at the same time, it is a business with hundreds of people of which are employed, and they really just want to figure out what is going to happen with the next step of this park. If it becomes a full theme park, I feel like they're all going to be on board, and they all will give the same passion and commitment and work ethic, or just general joie de vivre that they have had for the park in the past. But with anything that I've noticed in any vision, if you don't have a visionary behind it, you're not going to get anywhere. And Marineland doesn't have that right now, and that's the biggest problem as far as the future is concerned for that park. I really hope that they do find a buyer and really someone that has a vision and wants to take it to the next step, where everybody that knows and has followed this channel or follows the general history of that park knows that it's really been an underperformer for decades. And I honestly think that other than the fact that they do need to phase out their marine aquatic history at some point in the future, there's nothing but positive things that could happen with that property as far as its future is concerned. Look at Niagara Amusement Park. I guarantee within a couple of years, it's probably going to be a it's going to be a popular attraction, more so than Fantasy Island. I'm going to willing to bet on that, and there's no reason why Marineland can't either. In 2 years' time, if everything does get back to normal, it should be in a state where it can actually enjoy that kind of life again, or that kind of vision. I remember Marineland from the 80s and say the early 90s, before it really got these barrage of attacks based on, right now we will say, is not fully substantiated claims. I do need to say that because there is a firebrand of people that tend to react to a potential infraction versus an actual infraction and whether or not it has occurred. I'm not defending anything. If the park does get found to have been mistreating anything or been negligent, I will act concurrently with that. But until anything is proven, I will not be taking anything down, especially from comments just saying shame on you. I don't really, I'm not a school kid anymore, so I don't need strangers telling me how I should feel about attractions. So, alright, just checking to see if I've missed anything. This is really just like talking about the vision of what we got now. I'm going to check the comments, and I'm going to wrap this one up and see if there's anything there. But thank you guys, as always, for watching. Alright, yes, so no comments. Going to wrap this up here. Just figured I'd offer my 2 cents on this whole controversy of valleying roller coasters and really people being too afraid to go to parks. You're always taking a risk whenever you go to a park anyway. Anyone that's been to Wisconsin Dells knows that from like foremost, I would say. And in addition to what I was referring to earlier in the arguments about within the community, in the enthusiast community, you can't just turn on rides. You can't just let rides sit in a field and then plug it in and then say, oh, well, it turns, so it should be good to go. That's not how it works. This isn't, okay, I can't make a reference that I could obviously make. That's low-hanging fruit again. But yeah, we do have certain standards and procedures in not only Canada, but also the US. And because of that, you're talking about the safety, health and safety of individuals. It should not be compromised. People need to feel like they're safe going into a park. And if you just say, it's fine, then, you know, people aren't really going to take your word for it. Let's just say that. And also, if your profile picture has you flipping a bird, they're also not going to take your opinion too seriously either, are they? Anyhow, guys, as always, you know what you're dealing with when you go to a park. It's safe. If the crew seems to be sleeping, maybe take a pass there. But other than that, there's nothing to worry about. Get to your parks. It's been a great time. I'm exhausted. I've been to 4 different parks in the last week, which is crazy. Santa's Village is a bit of a controversy that I may have to cover in another video. Look for that soon. And look for a lot more. One thing I should wrap up with the channel. As we get into the season that's coming, which is the haunt season, the videos that are more creative and narrative-based are coming back. So it's very exciting. I have the first one coming for you guys in the next week. So look for the next season of the Reprofiles here on the channel very soon. Alright guys, thanks for watching. As always, enjoy.